The dawn of November 17, 2025, casts a golden glow over the Red Sea's tranquil waters near Eritrea. The air is still, the horizon painted in soft hues, and the world seems to pause for a moment of quiet anticipation. This is a place where history and geography converge, where the sea has witnessed centuries of trade, conflict, and silent observation. A lone dhow glides silently toward Massawa, its sail catching the first light of day. The deceptive calm on the water masks the subtle awakening of Eritrea, a nation whose presence is felt even when it is not heard. Beneath the surface, currents of change are stirring, hinting at a new chapter for this storied coastline. Once isolated and overlooked, Eritrea now stands as a key player in global geopolitics, thanks to its strategic coastline along one of the world's busiest maritime corridors. International shipping vessels and cargo ships now dot its harbors, signaling a shift in the region's balance of power. President Isaias Afwerki, who has steered Eritrea since its hard-won independence, is a leader known for patience and resolve. He plays a long game, leveraging the nation's geography and history to secure its interests, often moving quietly while others make noise. Eritrea's re-emergence on the world stage is pragmatic rather than ideological. By aligning with regional powers like Egypt, it is forging new partnerships and recalibrating its foreign policy to maximize its influence in a rapidly changing neighborhood. While the world's attention is often captured by louder headlines and more dramatic crises, Eritrea's quiet rise is becoming impossible to ignore. Analysts and journalists are beginning to take note, realizing that the country's actions could reshape the dynamics of the Red Sea and beyond. The silence from Asmara, Eritrea's capital, is not accidental. It is a calculated strategy. As the city awakens under the morning sun, its leaders are carefully crafting a new narrative, one that reclaims Eritrea's relevance and positions it as a silent sentinel on the global stage. Along its sun-scorched and rugged coastline, Eritrea's calculated moves are quietly assembling a new regional order. The cliffs and shores that once marked the edge of isolation now signal the beginning of renewed engagement and ambition. The nation is methodically reclaiming its place in the world, step by step, forcing the international community to take notice. Eritrea's silent strength is becoming its greatest asset as it shapes the future of the Red Sea and its own destiny. Eritrea's story is one of struggle, resilience, and a relentless quest for self-determination. For decades, the Eritrean people endured hardship and sacrifice, united by a vision of freedom that seemed almost impossible to achieve. The nation was forged in the crucible of a 30-year war for independence from Ethiopia, a conflict marked by extraordinary courage, loss, and unwavering hope. This long and painful history instilled not only resilience, but also a deep suspicion of outside interference, shaping the national psyche for generations. The spirit of the Tegadelti, the revered freedom fighters, remains at the heart of Eritrean society, inspiring a culture of self-reliance, collective effort, and national pride. Independence in 1993 brought a surge of hope and celebration, but the promise of peace was short-lived. A brutal border war with Ethiopia soon erupted, shattering dreams and ushering in an era of indefinite national service. This policy, intended to defend the nation, has driven thousands to leave their homeland, fueling a vast diaspora and tightening the government's grip on daily life. As international sanctions and isolation deepen, Eritrea became a pariah state. Yet, its leadership used this isolation to consolidate power, justifying strict control as necessary for survival. The government maintained a tight hold, insisting that unity and vigilance were essential in the face of ongoing threats, both real and perceived. Eritrea's isolation became both a shield and a prison, as the nation waited for regional dynamics to shift in its favor, hoping for a future where its sacrifices would be recognized. Now, Eritrea is cautiously re-engaging with the world, seeking to leverage its hard-won sovereignty and strategic position, while the legacy of struggle continues to shape its path forward. Eritrea's greatest asset is its geography, a fact that has shaped its destiny for centuries. Nestled in the Horn of Africa, Eritrea occupies a unique position that has drawn the attention of empires, traders, and modern nations alike. With over 1,200 kilometers of pristine Red Sea coastline, Eritrea commands a maritime gateway that connects Africa, the Middle East, and beyond. These shores have witnessed the passage of countless ships and civilizations, This strategic location includes the Bab el-Mandeb Strait, a narrow choke point through which nearly 10% of the world's trade flows. Control over this passage means influence over global commerce and energy supplies. Eritrea's coastline is a lever on the global economy, a fact that cannot be ignored by any nation dependent on maritime trade. The constant movement of cargo ships underscores its economic significance. The rise of piracy and regional conflicts have made Eritrea's stability attractive to international partners. Security in these waters is not just a local concern, but a global priority. Eritrea's location is a bargaining chip, drawing interest from global powers seeking influence in the Horn of Africa. Diplomatic missions and foreign delegations regularly arrive, hoping to secure partnerships. Ethiopia's landlocked status and urgent need for reliable sea access only heighten Eritrea's strategic importance. The border between these two nations is more than a line on a map. It's a lifeline for trade and development. Eritrea's leadership understands this leverage, using geography as a diplomatic tool to negotiate with neighbors and distant powers alike. Every meeting and handshake is shaped by the country's unique position. Egypt, for example, strengthens ties with Eritrea to counterbalance Ethiopia's growing regional dominance, especially over the Nile. These alliances are forged not just by politics, but by the logic of geography. Geography is Eritrea's permanent advantage, ensuring its role in regional politics and international affairs. The country's mountains, ports, and coastline are assets that cannot be replicated or moved. Eritrea's resurgence is anchored in its unchangeable location on the Red Sea, a position that will continue to shape its future, no matter how the world changes around it. Eritrea's diplomatic landscape is fluid and ever-changing, with dramatic realignments underway. Eritrea has turned old foes into allies, becoming pivotal in ongoing regional power struggles. A surprising alliance with the TPLF faction now illustrates pragmatic partnerships. This coalition counters Ethiopia's push for sea access, directly challenging Eritrea's sovereignty. Eritrea's strategic alignment with Egypt signals a united front against Ethiopia's ambitions. Eritrea re-engages with global powers, shifting from pariah to a sought-after partner. Eritrea navigates competing interests, maximizing its autonomy in regional politics. Its leadership leverages newfound attention, securing its place in the Horn of Africa today. Eritrea's military, the EDF, is disciplined and resilient, forged in independence. Indefinite national service provides a vast manpower reservoir, ready to defend sovereignty. The EDF projects power along the Red Sea, maintaining a discreet but firm presence. Eritrea's military secures its maritime domain, offering predictability in a volatile region. The EDF's strategic positioning along the Ethiopian border maintains regional pressure. Eritrea's military power is a deterrent, reinforcing its diplomatic efforts. The army's reputation for toughness supports Eritrea's quiet rise in regional politics. Eritrea's military is a reminder of its readiness to defend national interests. Eritrea's strategic importance is underreported, obscured by strict information control. The Eritrean government limits independent journalism, creating an information vacuum. Reporters rely on satellite imagery and diaspora accounts, missing the full picture. Eritrea's alliances are complex, requiring deep historical context to understand. The media focuses on simpler conflicts, overlooking Eritrea's nuanced geopolitical moves. Eritrea engages in narrative management, shaping international opinion subtly. The lack of coverage allows geopolitical shifts to occur without public scrutiny. Eritrea's rise happens in the shadows, a testament to its information control. The world is blind to Eritrea's moves, missing the significance of its resurgence. Eritrea's return to regional politics marks a power shift in the Horn of Africa. Once isolated, Eritrea now balances regional stability and potential conflict. The Eritrea TPLF Egypt axis counters Ethiopia's ambitions, risking regional war. International powers must engage with Eritrea as a key player in regional security. The old policy of isolation failed. A pragmatic approach is now necessary. Engaging with Eritrea raises moral dilemmas, but inaction risks greater conflict. Eritrea's story is a lesson in turning isolation into strategic advantage. The world must acknowledge Eritrea's role in regional geopolitics. Eritrea's voice is heard, and the region must listen to its strategic moves.